Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, this is my mid-month wrap-up, and I'm just going to scooch over a little bit because I feel like I'm not in frame. So essentially this is my mid-month wrap-up where I will talk about the first 8 books that I've read in the month. I think I've technically read 9, but one I'm saving for my end of month wrap-up because I'm reading book 2 in that series, if that makes any sense. So I will talk a little bit about them, what I rated them, and all of that. So the first book I read this month is Salvation by Caryn Lix, and I will pop up the cover on the screen somewhere, as well as all the books that I haven't read physically. If I've read it physically, I will hold it up. So Salvation is the third book in the Sanctuary trilogy, the first book being Sanctuary, where we follow Kenzie, who is a junior guard on the space prison named Sanctuary. And essentially, Sanctuary holds these dangerous prisoners, like these teens that are dangerous, that have these powers, or I think it's tentatively called anomalies or something like that. I think it starts with an A. I think it's anomalies, where essentially they have these powers and they did some sort of crime that ended up them being put there. And when Sanctuary is attacked by something, I'm gonna not say what because of possible spoilers, during that whole process, Kenzie ends up getting kidnapped by the prisoners, and then Kenzie and the prisoners have to band together to escape the prison before what attacks the prison kills them all. Is that a good explanation of that? I think. And Salvation is the third and final book. We ended up on a new planet, and this book was really good. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I think my favorite book in the series is the first one. I think it goes book 1, book 3, book 2 in the order for how I enjoyed the series. But I just really enjoy Kenzie as a main character, although sometimes she can be annoying. I love all of the side characters, and this is slightly spoilers, but there was, for example, a character that died that I was just like, you're good, what? I literally almost cried. So that's how you can tell it's a really good book, if I cry. So yeah, that's the first book I read this month. So the next book is definitely not like the last, and I've already technically filmed this clip, but I messed up multiple times. But essentially the next book I read was Fuckboy Psychos by Stunich, and this is the first book in the Scarlet Force series. Only book 1 is out, but still. But essentially we follow Scarlet Force, who is kind of like the queen bee, queen bitch of Prescott High, and as well as just kind of a good chunk of the town, and also the local racetrack. And essentially she races, she has these group of people that support her, and this is a kind of a dark reverse harem, and I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. I really struggled when I first tried to describe this, and honestly it's because so much goes on, there ends up being, I don't even know how to describe this book, because there's things for example, one of the love interests is literally somebody that will do anything, and by anything I mean anything, for hire. Another is somebody that just got out of juvie for killing his uncle. Another one is the mayor's son, who has a very, very weird backstory. Another one is a mobster's son, and all of those characters, you would think it would be weird, but then there's not, and it's I don't even know how to describe it. I literally cannot describe it. All I know is I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, and this also takes place in the same town as the Habit Boy series by Stunich, which I read at the end of September / early October, was it? And I really enjoyed those books, so I knew I was gonna enjoy this book, and it definitely I definitely did. I just enjoyed this atmosphere of we have one area of town that's kind of more of the how do I describe it, more of the poor area of town, the much more people that are we figure out ways to get our things by means, and then there's the two other two or three rich areas, and I I just love the vibe of this, and I'm very excited for book 2, which comes out in January, and book 3 comes out in February, I think. February or March. The next book is Faerie Fallen by Carol Beth Anderson, and this is a like YA fantasy essentially where we have Sayla, who is a Seelie, and when she starts to interact with humans more than she should, the Seelie king ends up giving her not an ultimatum type thing, but essentially is, because she's been interacting with humans too much, she gets punished where she has to go into the human world, like the human realm, and help the Darrow's son Covian learn to speak the Fae language. You may ask why, and that is because the Darrow family, along with multiple other humans, are trying to eradicate the Fae, and Sayla is to get closer to the Darrow family and overall just humans in general to learn about the plan to eradicate the Fae, and that's all I'm going to explain about this. I beta read this back in September, and then I ARC read it early December, and it just came out yesterday as I'm filming this, the 14th. And this book I gave 5 stars. I love it so much. I really love Sayla and Covian's like just the way that they bounce off of each other, and then also like the plot twists and like the ending especially, and I just like can't describe it. All I know is if you like Fae and like kind of slightly enemies to lovers, forced proximity, what else does this fit for? It fits for multiple other like tropes, and this is just like it hit every box I wanted it to. From the moment that Beth announced this book, I was like, I'm gonna love it, and I did, and like literally my name is in the fucking back of this book. I need to get a copy of it, but the paperback's really expensive, so I might not be able to get a copy of it. I'm not sure. The next book is Unforgiven by Angelina J. Steffart, and this is the 3rd book in the Breath of Fate series, the first book being Torn, where essentially we follow Lanny Dawson, who ends up discovering that she is this thing called a Lightbringer, which essentially a Lightbringer takes the souls of the dead to heaven, and then there's on the opposite end of that Shadowbringers that take these souls of the dead to hell, and Lanny has to like figure out her being a Lightbringer with the help of her best friend Leon, who is also a Lightbringer, and then also a Shadowbringer named Cass shows up and kind of throws everything for a loop, and book 3 is a wild, oh my god, ride. How do I even describe what happens all I can describe in book 3 is like shit hits the fan on multiple things. The lore grows, and like this I gave 5 stars. This is my favorite book in the series, and maybe my favorite book by Angelina J. Steffart, as just the character dynamics and the way that like there's like 2 characters who like their like relationship grows even though they're not in the same location, and it's not via like phone calls for chatting. That's gonna make no sense if you haven't read the book, but like I'm trying to figure out what I can describe without spoiling. But I just really enjoy it. I'm very, 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 very excited for Tethered, which comes out, is it February 28th? So I will like 100% be reading that like the moment it comes out. I might even be able to get an arc of it, because I know that like Angelina opens up her arc team for the books, and as long as you've reviewed the previous book, a lot of the times you get it. And well, I need to write my review for this, but I definitely will be writing a review for it because it's amazing. The next book is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and I gave this 2.5 stars. This essentially, we have a night circus. I was going to say it's a circus that is only open at night. It shows up at random locations, and like the next location is completely unknown. And essentially this is told in a non-linear timeline, meaning that we jump back and forth from times, and we are following mainly these 2 characters, Celia and Marco, as they are magicians, and there's this like competition that they're a part of, but it's not really related to the circus. I just didn't like this book. I DNF'd this back in March of 2020, and then now I was like, okay, pick it up, like read it, and like it felt like a drag. I don't understand the competition aspect. There was like a little bit of like a romance thing that I don't understand. I literally cannot give you one good thing I liked about this, except maybe the atmosphere of the circus itself I enjoyed, but like everything else was just like meh. I do have a vlog that like talks about me reading this. I'll leave that linked in the description and the iCard. Basically I have a vlog that like, it's not just me reading this, but I share a lot of my thoughts, like my favorite characters, how I feel as I'm reading it, and like all of that. The next book is Dipped in Holly by Dana Eisley, and this is a 66-page novella where essentially we follow Holly, who she just got dumped by her boyfriend at this bar, and she happens to be dressed as this sexy Mrs. Claus because it is a few days till Christmas. And when Holly goes to like go cry in the bar's bathroom, she ends up being like spotted by the bar's owner, and talking leads to her going upstairs to his apartment above the bar. And yeah, it's literally just a like 66-page erotic novella that I loved. I gave it 4 stars. It's definitely not the kind of book that I normally read, as it has like a kink that like I'm not into, but reading it I was like, oh, like I'm not weirded out, but I didn't enjoy it type thing. I think that's why it's not 5 stars. There's definitely, I was like literally like almost sitting laughing through it. I was like, I don't even know how to explain what my brain is going through, but like I read it in one sitting. It was a really fun read, and I'll read anything by Dana Eisley. Like, she is, I think, low-key a favorite author, as I've read everything by her either on the release date or within like a few days of the release date. So like, she's definitely a favorite author, so I'll read anything by her. The next book, well, technically it's a graphic novel. The next 2 are graphic novels, and the first one being The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jenn Wang. And this essentially, again, it's a graphic novel where essentially we have Prince Sebastian, who likes to like wear dresses and go out on the town in these dresses, and he ends up hiring Frances as his dressmaker. The caveat is his parents don't know that he's hiring her to make dresses for him, and it is like him feeling comfortable in these dresses and going out and like being like, I think the name that he goes by when he's in the dresses is Lady Crystalia, and it's just like a cute little like graphic novel talking about like expression and like what makes you happy, and like we also have Frances, who is just she's literally just trying to be a designer, and there's like her struggles with that, as well as like there's friendship aspects, and there's just so much about this. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed this, and it was literally just a cute graphic novel. I love the art style of it, and like I read it in one sitting. I said to myself originally, I was like, okay, I'll read like half of it, and then I got to like over halfway through, and I was like, oh no, I have to finish this tonight. It was just so cute. It made my heart happy so much, because my thing is always like, wear what you want, be who you want, and that's all that matters, and I will stick by that till the day I die. And the final book that I'm going to be talking about in this is yet another graphic novel, and that is Cheer Up, Love and Pompoms by Crystal Fraiser and Val Wise. And I honestly don't remember much about this, and I read this 2 days ago. Essentially, we have Annie, who ends up joining the cheerleading team because she kind of needs some sort of club or sport on her, like, for her college applications, and she ends up joining the cheerleading team, and one of her old friends, Bibi, is on the team, and Bibi is a trans girl, and it's literally just the 2 of them, like, regaining their friendship, as well as, like, just overall, like, high school, and then also the 2 of them maybe forming a little relationship. And like, it's cute, although, for example, I forgot the main character's name. I gave it 3.5. It was adorable as all hell, and I'm like really glad I read it, because like we do talk about like Bibi and her transition of how it's like her parents are only supportive of it if she keeps up good grades and good appearances and like appearances with like her fellow peers, and like I just really enjoyed it. It was a very cute read. So yeah, those are the 8 books that I've read so far this month. Let me know what books you have read so far this month, if you've read any of these books, or just something about books in the comments. I always adore seeing comments and interacting and all of that. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!